Hi, mermaid junkies, I'm back. I'm back. Oh my gosh, do you love my beautiful shirt? It's very Victorian. And I've got my beautiful Victorian day dress on and petticoat, of course. And I was trying on things as well because I think, don't you guys think this would be beautiful? Because for Halloween, I'm going to put Oliver on a beautiful little silk ribbon, like a black silk ribbon. And I bought some beautiful fake flowers, like dead flowers, to make like a little collar for his neck. And there's this picture that I posted on Facebook that, and my social media, that is of Beatrix Potter, and she has like a black beautiful Victorian hat, and she has a black beautiful shirt with a beautiful skirt, you know, and it looks like really dark. It's probably like a navy or a gray charcoal or something like that. But wouldn't this be beautiful with be all black? Because I have a black skirt already, and but I have the pattern for something like this of the Victorian era. And then I found a beautiful top hat, and it's so perfect. It looks just like what Beatrix Potter wore back then in the early 1900s. And she had her little Benjamin Bouncer Benjamin, I can't remember, but you guys know that she was my total inspiration, and she's like one of my spirit guides for my little children's book that I'm writing. It's about Merry Maids and bunny rabbits, and it's beautiful, and it's very reminiscent of, without copywriting anything, of course not, but I painted. I'm in the process of illustrating it now, but all the wording and all of the written part, the author part of it is complete. And so I'm so excited because it's going to be published in the spring. That's the first one, but I have like several more that I want to write too. Anyway, okay. So this video is about selfishness, and I thought that was a cute play on words, right? Okay, so the thing that I started to recognize when practicing the law of attraction and manifesting and things like that is that a lot of people will start to tell you, like, when you start practicing the law of attraction, many people are going to tell you in your close-knit circle or your perimeter of people that you are becoming selfish. And that's quote unquote, air quotes, in a bad way. That you are not thinking of others, that you are only thinking of yourself, that it's not Christ-like, it's not God-like, you shouldn't do that, it's inappropriate, you need to get back in your box, like you need to repent and be a better person, stop being so selfish. The world doesn't revolve around you, Raquel. Because you know what? We've been taught that and conditioned that with no intentional meaning behind it when we were young. Because our parents did it, their parents probably did it, and their parents and their parents and their parents, you know? So what it was is like, that's all they knew, is to repeat that cycle. But the actuality of the whole entire thing is that we were trained and conditioned out of being selfish when that's exactly how we came to the earth to be. We didn't sign up to say, oh, I'll be a doormat and you can treat me any old way, and I'm never going to put myself first. I'm going to always put other people before me. What's the number one cause that causes people to go apeshit, ballistic, crazy, lose their mind, become depressed, get on drugs, get on alcohol, have a sex addiction? I mean, you name it under the sun. The one main reason is because people have trained you out of being selfish. What is the number one thing that happens when people get to become drug addicts or alcoholics or whatever you want? I mean, you can use anything you want. People can use it as a disguise, like, no, I'm so selfless. But let me give you a prime example of how people are selfish. Every human being born in existence on this earth, any other earths, in the whole realm of time, are selfish. And you might can say, well, no, don't label me. I'm not selfish at all. I'm so giving and so this. Let me give you a prime example. Okay, 2 prime examples to make my point and bring it home, right? One is, how does a baby come to the earth? How does a baby come to the earth? They come to the earth, shitting whenever they want, screaming whenever they want. When they're in the nursery, when they get stuck by the needles, when they're first born, when they get slapped on the foot, they cry. It's because they're realizing they're in this new dimension, right? Mortality, which is totally like a shocker to them. That's why they cry, is because it's very, very alarming when you first come to earth, right? And physical. Because we're so used to being non-physical with source, the universe, you know. When kids, or even when they're young, little kids, they don't think like, oh, if you're sitting in church. I mean, I can think of from experience, you know, little kids, you're in the grocery store and you're, you know, trying to get a couple of things and you're missing their nap time or whatever. Do you think that they don't act up? They start screaming and pitching a fit because they want what they want. They're selfish. They're thinking about, I want to be fed. I want my diaper changed. I want to go to sleep. And I don't care who hears me. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care if I have to hit the door, slam the door, kick stuff, whatever. I mean, think about it. Think about a child and the way that they come to earth. That's natural. You're supposed to be like that. That's the way you get what you want, right? You're selfish. You're thinking about yourself. That baby is not thinking, well, I don't want to hurt in their mind, right? Even if they can't speak, they're still vibrationally able to communicate. So when a baby, like say for instance, is at a church, and the reason I use church a lot is because my Christian friends can relate to this, as well as I had lots of experience. I mean, I had 3 boys and a little girl, and they were all like boom, 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 boom. And so I was always sitting in church, and it was like they didn't care if the bishop was trying to give, you know, a talk or something. They were going to scream and crawl into the pews and throw their little Cheerios across the place, open the hymn book and start singing real loud. I mean, there's all kinds of things kids would do. And they didn't care. They didn't care. They weren't like, oh, well, my mommy might give me a spanking, so I better not do that. I mean, they do learn that because we condition them out of being selfish, because we tell them, oh, the world doesn't revolve around you, when it actually does revolve around us. Like, we need to get back to that whole selfish nature of having such a love within us, like God, like source, like the universe has, like God has. God is selfish. If God wasn't selfish, he would come down to our level all the time when we're acting like asses, right? But no, he's like, I couldn't convince God to go, come down here, don't you understand? Look at what this person did to me. Don't you understand, God? Come down and kind of relish in this and take my side. As much as God loves us, our inner being, source, they are never coming to our level. That is a form of selfishness, okay? The last thing that made me think of like the epitome of saying like, I'm not selfish, why are you so selfish, was when I asked my mother, and this was the previous video, you guys, when I was talking about the relation with money and what was happening with the money situation in my dad's truck, right? And so when I said to my mom, I asked her like for the 3rd time, and I said, are you sure that you're not willing? I said, because I believe that I'm going to cut ties with the family. I'm just not going to associate with you guys anymore, because I feel so wounded and so hurt at this moment. Like, I can't believe my mom wouldn't have my back. And so my mom proceeded to tell me that I was selfish because how come I couldn't understand, you know, like, why couldn't I still come around or whatever? And as well as, you know, that, like I said, that I was being selfish. But let me just turn this around and say, after all that, and knowing that she may have to make some choices and say, you know what, I'm going to stick my ground on this. I think this was not cool that you did this to Raquel, our daughter. And so I'm going to go ahead and veto you and give her as a gift, I'm going to give her the truck. Because my mom assimilated that with, I'm going to have to get a divorce, and I'm going to have to leave your dad, and I'm going to have to do all this kind of stuff, and it's going to cause a big ruckus in our relationship and whatever. So in turn, after everything is said and done, and I was taught not to be selfish, my mother actually was selfish because she was thinking more about what she was going to have to go through than standing up and saying, no, I don't think this is cool. Dude, we're not doing this, right? So in turn, she actually chose herself and own emotions over me, over everybody else. So, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a learning way, that when you sit there and judge a drug addict, and I can't believe they would be so selfish and not think. Everybody thinks about themselves when it comes down to, at the end of the day, if you don't think that your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your brother or sister is not ultimately gonna choose their own stuff before you, you are sadly mistaken. The other thing is that if you don't, and you wait like I did for so long, and I was selfish, and I put my husband first and my kids first and all that, right? When I was in my previous marriage for 25 freaking years, you turn out like me. Either you kill yourself, which was an option for me very, very many times, or you freaking go ape shit and freaking abandon and leave everybody and have the most resentment you've ever seen that you have to spend years working through. That's what's going to happen to you if you choose to be selfless. The Christian thing. Why do you think so many people in religions are on antidepressants and have hidden agendas, hidden lives? They sit there and act perfect, but they're freaking alcoholics, they're adulterers, they're doing this, doing that. They're gamblers, and I'm not judging. I am not judging at all, but what I'm saying is you don't live your truth. That's what's gonna happen to you. When you live a lie, it will freaking screw you over because you have to live your truth. And that means a part of it is being selfish. Selfish. And selfishness is not a bad word, it's a good word. And I would just really think that we need to embrace that and bring it back. Like selfishness is not bad. Everyone does it in their own way. And if you want to see how you are selfish, like what things mean the most to you. I was selfish and chose myself even over my children and left my marriage. Even though, I mean, my kids weren't tiny, they weren't in diapers or anything. I basically was a stay-at-home mother and raised them. My youngest 17, so she's basically an adult. She'll be 18 in a couple of months. So it worked beautifully for me. But at the same time, I think, you know what, if I would have been selfish and wouldn't have been that way, but you know what, everything works out the way it's supposed to. I learned. It just took me a long freaking time to learn. I don't want you guys to have to sit there and live 25, 30 years with someone or doing something that you don't want to do. If you don't want to do something, don't freaking do it. I mean, and the reason I get so like, you know, like I'm perspiring is because I love you so much. And I know what it feels like to be suppressed and depressed and suicidal and freaking like, just let me do this thing, this bad habit, because I don't feel like freaking dealing with this crap. Like I can't stand my freaking life. And that's why most people are doing extracurricular things, is because there's something in you that is not healed. And I know this firsthand. Was that just a fly? Oh my God, it's totally a bug. But anyway, what I'm saying is just, you know, pay attention to those things and just realize, you know what, selfishness is a good thing. It's a cool, we're bringing selfish back. We're bringing selfish back. I mean, because there's nothing wrong with it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful character trait, in my opinion. But that's just my little Victorian mermaid opinion. So anyway, I hope this served you. I hope no one was harmed in the incidents of this particular video. But if they were, I can't control that, right? But I'm just sharing my truth and trying to be honest and trying to show forth love. And I want you to know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. And thank you for watching. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Swim. Okay, I love you. Bye.